guys, and thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. Today we have a lot of stuff to break down. We're going to talk about the Colts defense, why it is the Rodney Dangerfield of defenses in the NFL. Colts and Gus Bradley literally getting no respect, but played an outstanding game on Sunday. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how the Rams looked last night because I did not think they looked good. I watched the Monday night game just to see how the Rams were looking because everybody's talking about that they have some magic back and they're back out there playing really well again. And excuse my voice, I am a little bit sick right now. And then we're going to talk about what accountability really means and what culture really means for football teams, about something I was watching yesterday with Tom Brady. Even though I despise Tom Brady, damn it, I respect him. So we're going to talk about all that on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. We're going to get into it right now. But first, this episode is brought to you by Mattress Warehouse in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Mattress Warehouse is the only locally owned mattress store in Fort Wayne. Get your mattress today. Get the sleep that you so dearly desire from a locally owned company that has some of the best customer service in all of Fort Wayne for mattresses. We don't use a third-party delivery service, so you'll have guys that come directly from here to set up your mattress and bed set up and everything like that, and we'll take away your old mattress and get everything set up for you before the holidays. This time of year, Thanksgiving and Christmas come really, really fast. And all the time I have people come in a few days before Thanksgiving or Christmas that need those beds. Here's a secret. Buy yourself a new mattress and make your relatives sleep on that one, the old one that you're sleeping on right now. Come into Mattress Warehouse and we'll help you do all of that. Just come see us at 4830 Lima Road, Illinois Road, or at 1808 North Coliseum, 3 locations in Fort Wayne. And many of our mattresses can be shipped throughout the entire country. So come check us out at Mattress Warehouse. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. All right, well, we're going to get into talking about some of the stats from the Colts game. Let's just go over some of the player stats first as I pull these up here. And who is catching balls on the Colts? Well, Michael Pittman Jr. had 9 receptions for 77 yards. Josh Downs, 8 receptions for 57 yards. Alec Pierce, 3 for 43 yards. Zach Moss, 2 for 23 yards. Ogletree had 1 for 11 yards. So the Colts, this was a defensive struggle, but Michael Pittman Jr. is earning his money. This guy gets a lot of flack, I feel like, for not being as good as what people think he should be. I just don't think he's just not a burner down the field player. Hines Ward, for years and years, was one of the best possession wide receivers on the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's what Michael Pittman brings to the Colts. He made a great catch on that play down the field where the guy got his hand in his face. But Michael Pittman, he is up for a contract after this year, and I believe he'll get a big extension for the Colts because they need this guy. And in inclement weather games, I mean, everybody remembers the San Francisco game when he made the really great catch from Wentz down the sideline in a monsoon. And he did the same thing here in the game against the Ravens, having a really great catch down the field in a really wet, soggy game. So Michael Pittman Jr., the only guy, Josh Downs is really playing well for a first-year player. Alec Pierce just needs to pick it up a little bit. Get out of his own head. Get out of his own way. The defense, Zaire Franklin, 15 tackles, 11 tackles and 4 assists, and 1 sack for Zaire Franklin. He is having an absolutely fantastic year. And Julian Blackman had 6 tackles as well. The defense, let's just talk about the Colts defense, what happened in the second half. Gus Bradley, when he was hired in 2022, many people rolled their eyes at this hire. I will say he has changed his ways. He has totally redeemed himself. He went in last year, he blitzed 16.4% of the time. I was just looking up these stats and looking up what he did in the second half of the game against the Ravens. He was not blitzing in the first half. I don't know if it was Shane Steichen or what happened at halftime. He blitzed 60% of the time in the second half, forcing Lamar Jackson, forcing him to make quick decisions to throw the ball down the field. That was paramount in this game because Jackson was not looking for it. You can tell if they were looking at film of what the Colts do on defense, just throwing in that wrinkle of like blitzing an extra guy on 60% of the plays, you know that he has to be sitting there thinking like, this is not what I saw on the film. This is not what they do. So you really got to hand it to whoever made the decision, but Gus Bradley, he's going to be the one that gets all the credit because they blitzed 60% of the times, and it totally worked. He was totally confused on a lot of plays. There were many just bad plays in the second half, and Jackson was not able to get the ball out of his hands, and he was sacked several times by the Colts. Kwity Paye running him down on the sideline is one that really sticks out in my mind as a big one. But so bravo to Gus Bradley. The Colts defense are they a top tier defense in the NFL? I think they're on their way to being that. They're much better than a lot of defenses out there, like even the Jets defense. I think the Colts defense is just as good as the Jets defense. Just because they're in New York, everybody thinks they're like Aaron Rodgers away from winning the Super Bowl. I don't think so. We are really good at stopping the run now because of Buckner in the middle. And Grover Stewart being in a contract year is playing balls to the wall all the time. So the Colts defense, they get just a gold ribbon for this week. The work they did on the field, stopping the Ravens. Many times they had the ball around midfield and only needed a field goal to win that game. And the defense really came up big. So got a lot to look forward to see how they can perform against the Rams this coming next week, because I watched the Rams last night on Monday Night Football and they did not look that great. They don't really have a lot of dynamic weapons down the field to throw the ball to, and they are pretty much a lot like the Colts. They're just a short passing team. If you can get a good rush on Matthew Stafford, you can tell he is going to have a very difficult time. Hendrickson, that's really the part of this Cincinnati game. Like Joe Burrow really couldn't even move around at all because he's got a calf injury. And it was really the Cincinnati defense that just completely just shut down the Rams. The Rams were not able to get into the red zone or get touchdowns when they were in the red zone last night. So is this going to be a fired up Rams team? They played on a short week. Is the travel going to affect them that much? I don't think so. I mean, you're in airports. You're going from Cincinnati and flying back to Los Angeles. Then you got to fly to the Colts for the game on Sunday. I mean, you're in airports. There's a little bit of a time change. Yeah, it's a 1 o'clock game, and that's 10 o'clock their time. Maybe it will affect them a little bit, but I'm not going to make any excuses. I mean, I think the Rams are going to come to the Colts ready to play after losing that game to Cincinnati last night, and we're going to see what happens. I mean, could the Colts could they get to 3-1? That would be huge. The Rams. What did you think of the Rams last night? I did not think they looked like that great on defense or offense. Defense was, sorry, I'm really struggling to talk just my, all right. So the other thing I really want to talk about is like how the Colts coaching staff is really bringing a better culture to the team and how this is going to really help the team going forward. You can see like Juju Brent started, Baker got benched. There was the running back, Deion Jackson. I watched this thing yesterday. Tom Brady was on the PBD podcast, and he was talking about how culture and all that stuff. And, he said that this is just so true. People throw that word culture around all the time. It's really in the actions of the individuals. If you have 53 people in a locker room and 35 or 40 of them are always going to show up to the meetings, aren't screwing around, just mean business all the time. Those other 15 people, if they're not a part of that and they're not going to be held accountable, that's the thing about it, is like you have to hold each other accountable as well. It goes for everybody across the board, no matter who you are. And like Tom Brady was saying, he's like, we weren't like angels or anything like that, but it was just that certain people were going to be the purveyors of this accountability. And like he mentioned a bunch of names like Willie McGinnis and Teddy Bruschi and all these guys. And then you have these people almost like police the accountability among everybody else to make sure that everybody else is going to stand in line. If somebody wants to be like, screw this, I don't want to do this way, it's almost like you have like whistleblowers in the locker room that are going to be like, yeah, this guy doesn't get it. He doesn't want to get it. Get him out of here. You can see that more and more now with the Colts, with this guy as the coach. He just seems like a lot more of a hard-nosed type of guy. And I was also watching some of the Two Big Brains episode yesterday, and they were talking about how, Steichen, how he would like talk to Chris Ballard, and you can tell he's just the type of guy that's like, get me some good players. Get some good players in here. He's just a really no-nonsense type of guy that's not going to take a lot of bullshit. And I think that coaching style, at least for right now, I mean, anybody can coach a team, and after you say the same things over and over again for 4 or 5 years, if it's not working, it's just going to be very difficult to keep banging that same drum and not getting results. So the Colts, so far, getting better results than they were from Frank Reich. Frank Reich was really just, he never benched anybody. And that was like probably his downfall, just being too nice of a guy and allowing, you can be a nice guy, but up to a certain point. And that's maybe where he faltered. And that might be where Shane Steichen is really proving to be a different type of head coach than what Frank Reich is. You got to figure this is your job. These are not your friends. So the Colts got the Rams coming into town this weekend. Big win on Sunday. Was just an absolutely great game to watch, even though I think I about had 5 heart attacks during the game. And the other thing I want to talk about on this is Ballard brought in Gay as the kicker. Huge move for Ballard. I mean, you got to give him props when things do go well, because this guy is obviously, and I don't want to jinx him or anything like that, but, I mean, the Colts have not had a good kicker really for a while, because Vinatieri was kind of deteriorating for a while. Then it took a little bit, because for a while there, Vinatieri really couldn't kick anything over about 48, 49 yards, and then he started missing a lot of things. So it's been a few years since the Colts had a good kicker. And when you're going to be in close, tight games, which the NFL, there's a lot of close, tight games. I mean, I can tell you like 2 or 3 years ago that it was like Vinatieri cost him about 4 games. So having a great kicker and paying this guy, even though a lot of people questioned it when Ballard gave him the money at first, it was totally worth it. It's good to get a professional kicker in there that looks like, I mean, he's the real deal. And after that showing on Sunday, he is the Indiana Sports Connection Player of the Week. I just made that up, folks. Matt Gay, really great job booting the ball. Hey, you can't fault Ballard. There were many people going, man, why did he spend all that money on that kicker? Now you know. That was one victory so far that this guy really, really helped us get. And But we'll talk more about the Colts tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to try to make an episode. And until next time, stay classy out there, Colts fans.